Hello, everyone, and welcome. So happy that you're here. So, we have been experiencing some technical difficulties today. So, if you could please bear with us. When I pop up the screen, you may not be able to see my face there. You may not be able to see a few extra effects that we normally have. I'm sure you can do without it, but please bear with us today, and we're really sorry about the technical difficulties. Okay, so for those of you who don't already know, my name is Leandra McGriff, and I'm the Education Strategy Lead at Infosys Foundation USA. Now, before coming to the foundation, I was a teacher for 7 years, and then I entered the ed tech space for a while. And now I'm at the foundation, where our goal is to digitally upskill learners nationwide. Now, when I say AI for visuals, I am talking about things teachers already create. Images for slides, diagrams to explain hard concepts, visuals for writing prompts, posters for routines, or short clips that show a process in motion. Now, the difference is that instead of spending hours searching, editing, settling for something that's close enough, AI allows you to create visuals that are intentionally designed for your students. Now, throughout this webinar, I'll be modeling something important, and it's using AI as a support tool, not a replacement for teaching. You'll see how to guide these tools clearly and how to stay grounded in sound instructional decisions. My goal is that by the end of this session, you walk away thinking, I don't need to use all of this, but I know exactly where it could help me. Now, while you are going through the webinar, please take note of the vocabulary that we use to prompt the AI, because this will be helpful for you in creating your own visuals in the future. We won't spend time going over all of the possible vocabulary that you can use, but please pay attention and take notes as you go along. Also, please feel free to follow along with your own prompts, but we are going at a fast pace and I don't want you to get hung up anywhere. So please stay with us. And this webinar is split into 5 pieces: explaining hard concepts, student-facing materials, accessibility and inclusion, teacher prep and communication, and finally, video creation. And those are the sections that we will be dividing our webinar into. So, without further ado, now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So, the first section, explaining hard concepts, we're going to start with the water cycle for younger ones. Now, this is going to be elementary level, but we can also use it for upper grades, and you'll see how in just a second. And I'm going to share my screen here so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to start off by using Google Gemini's Nano Banana. And I'm going to go ahead and describe my image. And I'm going to say, create a simple label diagram of the water cycle for third graders. Use a flat, colorful educational illustration style, similar to elementary science textbooks, bright colors, simple shapes, and clear labels. Now, while this is generating, I want to call out what I did in this prompt. I didn't just ask for a water cycle image. I specified the grade level, the visual style, and how complex it should be. And that's really important because visuals can either support understanding or overwhelm students. And for younger learners, we're choosing a flat textbook style illustration because it reduces cognitive load. And I'm using Nano Banana because it's very good at following structured directions and grade level constraints. So you could use this for whole group instruction, anchor charts, or review before an assessment. So Nano Banana did really good with this one. As we can see here, it's nice, it's simple, it goes through the entire water cycle process, and it has the words clearly specified there. We do see a little bit of a with condensation, sometimes words aren't as clear as they should be, but for the most part, it is pretty good. All right, so now we're going to move on to middle school, and I'm going to make it a slightly different. We're changing the illustration style here. So in this one, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to just talk about the parts that we are specifically changing here. All right, so we are using, it's for 7th graders, and this time we are including more vocabulary. And we're using a semi-realistic digital illustration style, clean lines, muted colors, and clear scientific labeling. So it's going to give us another level here. And I'm asking for a more detailed version of the same concept. And this is where AI really shines at differentiation. So instead of redesigning my lesson, I can just redesign the visual. And this semi-realistic digital illustration is seen here. But it's also very minimalistic. And I still like Nano Banana here because consistency matters. We want to keep it consistent when we're doing differentiation. We want to use the same AI tools. All right, so this is how it looks. And we even have some extra vocabulary terms like runoff, lake, groundwater, infiltration, water table, saturated zone. This is great. It really expanded upon it and it made it more applicable to seventh graders. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to continue here and we're going to do a fun one with Claude. Now, I love Claude for this, for math fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and put the prompt here so that it can go ahead and get started. And it's going to be create a visual model showing 3/4 using food such as pizza slices and fruit. Use a bright cartoon style illustration that feels friendly and approachable for fourth graders. Okay, so what's really fun here is that it'll actually create a model for us that we can actually click on and play around. It's a mini computer program, which is so great that you can put it on your smartboard in your classroom and actually let your students play around with it. So right here, we're seeing all of the background information as it generates the code. But while it goes, I'm going to talk about this prompt. So I'm intentionally choosing a concrete visual style because food-based illustrations really help students who struggle with abstract math concepts actually see what a fraction represents. I've asked for a bright cartoon style illustration because it feels approachable and less intimidating, especially for students who already feel anxious about math, aka me. And this is a case where Claude can really be effective because it excels at playful, expressive visuals, and it can also, like I said, create a mini program for us. So I would use something like this during direct instruction, maybe intervention groups or math centers. Now, it's interesting. Let's see what it created here. And I'm not seeing it. Uh, let's see what happened here. Let's notify when Claude responds here. It may not be finished yet. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one because it seems like Claude may not be ready yet. I'm going to put in the same prompt and we're going to move on while we wait for that to actually finish being created. All right, so I'm going to skip our math one and we are going to move on to history. And we'll come back to this when it's done creating this. So I'm going to use ChatGPT for history. And I am going to create an illustration showing daily life in ancient Rome. And I'm going to use a detailed historical style similar to images found in textbooks. Now, I'm going to pit ChatGPT and Gemini against each other so that we can see the differences here. Because sometimes one AI is better than the other, and it's good to see how it works. Now, I'm going to go ahead and create a new chat and put this here. And we'll let both of them get to work. You can have more than AI working at the same time. It's actually very useful. And history visuals are really great because it really builds background knowledge for students. And I've asked for a very historical illustration similar to what you'd see in a textbook. And I chose ChatGPT because it works well with balancing accuracy and visual simplicity. And it really supports comprehension and helping multilingual learners visualize context. Now, here is our Gemini one, Daily Life in Ancient Rome. It looks like such an old drawing, like an old picture here, but we did say historical illustration style. So that's why it did that. Let's go over to ChatGPT and see what we got here. Also historical illustration style. Can you guys tell me which one you prefer, ChatGPT or Google Gemini? Can you guys put it in the chat? James, can you read it for me? Oh, I have ChatGPT is more
Yep.
colorful and Gemini. Ah, ChatGPT more visually appealing. Very nice, guys. All right, yeah, it seems like ChatGPT is the winner for this one. Okay, let's continue. I'm gonna see if our visual fraction model is ready. Um, it says it just created it for me. I'm going to respond with, I cannot see it. So I'm going to let it get back to work there. We'll keep on going and hopefully Claude comes up with something soon. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do a cinematic version of ancient Rome with natural lighting, realistic textures, and a document style look. And this is going to be educational and appropriate for our kiddos. And I'm going to put it in here and let's see what happens. And we're going to do Google Gemini again and ChatGPT and see what they come up with. Documentary style look is going to be the key here. So I'm changing the tone completely by asking for a cinematic wide angle style. And this kind of visual really helps the students observe and ask questions. Ooh, I really love what Gemini created here, or Nano Banana. And Nano Banana is great for atmospheric storytelling driven image because it handles lighting and mood really well. And of course, this is great for warm-ups or historically empathetic activities. And if you notice, when I'm giving these descriptions about these images, I'm really talking about three things. The prompt vocabulary that I used, and the type of interesting um, ways to express it, and finally, how you can use it in your classroom. So those are the three things that I'm really talking about here, and you'll see me mention it in that format. Oh, someone asked, is Nano Banana a feature or an add-on? It comes with Gemini, actually. So it's not an add-on. You can just get it with Gemini. Now, ChatGPT, if you notice, it did the exact same image, but it just changed the style. So I think I like Nano Banana. What do you guys like? Did you guys like Nano Banana or Chat for this one? I'm looking in the chat. Let's see what everybody thinks. And then we'll continue here. I'm not seeing anything. Someone says it's hard to decide. Nano Banana is one. Nano Banana lighting. Yep, I agree. Nano Banana is pretty good for this one. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So now we're going to use Nano Banana for, oh, here, guys, Claude is finished. Let's take a look at our 3/4, 3 out of 4 parts here. So I am going to look, so this is the 3/4 pizza slice, and we can actually see the 3 out of 4 parts and the 3 out of 4 oranges. It doesn't have JavaScript apparently, so I can't click around on it. Normally I can, but it makes it very clear, and I love Claude for this. It's great for technical visualization. So definitely keep that in mind when you are doing math concepts. All right, so I'm gonna head back over to Nano Banana, and we are going to create a storybook style illustration. Right now, we are in student-facing material, section 2, and we're going to write a prompt mystery door type of illustration here. And this is going to be for our literature class. So it's creating a whimsical storybook illustration of a mysterious door appearing in a school hallway, soft lighting, warm colors, and a curious magical mood. So when I create student-facing visuals, I try to think about how the image will make students feel before they even start writing. And a whimsical storybook illustration really lowers the barrier to entry and invites imagination. Now we're going to change this and make it a little realistic here. We're going to create a cinematic, photorealistic image of a mysterious door appearing in a model school, modern school hallway. And I'm pasting it here. And we're going to use dramatic lighting, shallow depth of field. I'm using words like depth of field and a slightly mysterious atmosphere to completely change the way it looks. And that looks quite different than what we just saw. A mysterious door in a hallway. We have the lighting, the ambiance, really cool. This is so great for guided thinking, like for bell ringers, writing centers, or just storytelling. This is a really fun thing to do. All right, so I'm going to do a vocabulary card, and we're going to go to ChatGPT for this one. Now, a vocabulary card is great, especially for ESL learners or for whenever we are just putting it on the screen, a new vocabulary word, just to teach it. It doesn't matter if they're young or old. This is really important here. So I'm going to create a cinematic. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. It didn't copy and paste it. Let's try that again. I don't want you guys to have to wait for me to type, so I'm probably gonna have to start typing. Hang in there with me. Okay, so we're going to create a visual vocabulary card for the word evaporation. And we're going to use a clean educational illustration style showing the sun heating water as it rises into the air. And we're going to include the word clearly at the bottom. So notice I said we're going to include the word because we're also going to make cards without the word. And this is really helpful for all different types of use cases. But in this prompt, I'm pairing the image with the word to support explicit instruction. And I've asked for an educational illustration so it's clear and it's not distracting. Um, and great for word wall slides, especially if you put it in your slideshow presentation, digital notebooks, etc. And now I'm just going to switch it up a little bit and we're going to change the design style. We're also going to say without text. And we're going to use a simple flat design style. So this version really removes the text on purpose because I'm turning the vocabulary into an inference activity. Students have to observe and guess the meaning based on visual clues. And I love this strategy for ESL support. And it really makes AI makes it really fast to do this, really incredibly fast. And we'll see how it makes it look. And we used a flat design style, which is a little different than what we had going in the first one. The next one that we're going to do is going to be story sequencing. Um, and so here, oh, we have the exact same image without the word here. Evaporation is completely gone, but we get the same image. So it understood the assignment. Rarely will an AI spit out the same image twice. So this is a luxury that we should enjoy. And that's a way to do the cards. All right. So now we're going to continue to another literature lesson. This one's fun. It's going to be about a lost robot and explaining story sequencing. So here this is fun because it doesn't only have to be for Literature. You can actually do a fun story sequence explaining a scientific concept or a fun story sequence explaining a historical concept. But for us, we are going to create three comic style panels showing the beginning, middle, and end of a story about a lost robot finding its way home. Use bold outlines and expressive visuals. So this is going to be fun, and the comic style visuals are incredibly effective because they clearly separate beginning, middle, and end. And the bold outlines and expressive visuals help students track events without relying heavily on text. So this is great for younger students or really students that struggle with organization. And ChatGPT just does such a great job with this kind of narrative imagery, which we'll see happening in just a moment here. All right, this is so cute. Lost and alone, beep, where am I? Journey home, home at last. This is so great. Now, let's change it to focus more on the digital illustration style that we want, and we're going to change it slightly. Um, and we are going to do warm colors and emotional storytelling. Let's see if it changes it. Sometimes it won't change it at all, and we have to play with it and tweak it, but let's see if it actually does something and changes the colors here. If not, we can go over to Nano Banana and see the difference. And we really wanted to focus more on emotional tone. Soft lighting, warm colors really help students connect emotionally to the story, not just structurally. And I might use this for reflective writing or social emotional learning activities. And changing the visual style changes the learning outcome. And that is intentional. We want to change the style. And so, keeping in mind when to use these different styles and techniques will allow you to create great visuals that you can use and have an effect on your students correctly. So you can actually look up what kind of colors and things affect your students emotionally so you can create the right kind of images. Now, here we go. This is the first one, and this is the second one. And it did the same thing, but it changed the lighting and the colors, which is really nice. And I love the difference here. Beautiful. And you can look at it here. All right, so now we're going to do a science lab project. I'm going to create a new chat and it's going to just be um a guidelines here. And we'll see what the guidelines are. So they're a four-step visual instruction guide for a science lab activity. Get materials, follow directions, record results. Here it is. We want to use simple black and white icons, minimal text, high contrast, and a universal symbol style. So for this one, we want to actually keep it as simple as possible. And this is what we want it to create for our students. This is just about a visual instruction guide so that the students understand what they're supposed to do. Nothing fancy here, but we do want to tell the AI exactly what we want. We want it to be black and white icons, and we want it to be high contrast, and it's going to express the four-step guide here um, in a way that's easy to understand. Something to be careful about is words with AI. AI still makes mistakes when it comes to creating vocabulary in an image. And so that's something you have to be aware of. And it takes a lot of patience to kind of just get what you want correctly. So if it does happen, don't be surprised. Um, and there we go. Let's take a look here. Nice icons, easy to understand, and very straightforward. All right, let's move on. So we are in classroom routine asking for help. We're going to create a classroom poster. I love having, I mean, when I was a teacher, I loved having posters all over my classroom. It was fun, and now you can create your very own posters, which are easy to do for your classroom. You don't have to use Canva. You can, but doing it yourself, copy and pasting images, it can get a little tiresome. AI can do it for you. So, we are going to create a classroom poster showing how to ask for help respectfully. We're going to use friendly, inclusive cartoon style characters, clear facial expressions and short phrases, soft colors, and uncluttered design. Now, classroom routines are more effective when they're visual and consistent. And in this prompt, I've asked for friendly characters and clear expressions so students can quickly recognize expected behavior. Now, this reduces verbal reminders and really supports positive classroom culture. This is great for elementary school classrooms, but if you want to teach a concept like AI do's and don'ts for your older students or um expectations that are, I remember even for our older students, we always had to have those expectations on the wall, and it's also good for ESL students. So really fun and easy to do. This is how to ask for help. I'm having trouble with this. Thank you. Can you help me, please? And I love the variety of students here. So beautiful. Moi, chef's kiss. Just absolutely fantastic. All right, so now we are going back to Nano Banana and we're going to do some comparing and contrasting. Now, comparing and contrasting, as we know, is extremely important. So I'm going to copy and paste my um, here it is, my prompt. And I am saying create an educational visual explaining compare and contrast. I'm actually just going to explain the words. Use a split screen infographic style, simple icons, arrows, and minimal text. Clear neutral colors for easy understanding. And so this is extremely simplistic, I must say, but it gets the job done. Now you can do this for even more complicated tasks, of course, but I think it's really interesting what we're looking at here. Very simple, very straightforward. Academic language can really be a barrier if they don't understand the words or what they're asking them to do. And this is something that students can clearly see. And we've chosen an infographic style because it's easy to interpret. And this is just great for test prep, writing instruction, and language support. All right, so now for our teacher prep. What about using slideshow presentations? Let's go ahead and create one with Nano Banana and with ChatGPT. We're going to go back and forth, and again, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat which ones you prefer. Now, we are going to do the life cycle of a butterfly, and this is going to be again, it's going to require a little extra work on the part of the AI because we are going to be looking for some text here. And we're asking for a classroom safe image explaining the life cycle of a butterfly. We're going to use a polished, educational, infographic style, soft natural colors, and clear labeling designed for a presentation slide. I love that we can put images in our slideshow presentations, exactly what we want. It's no more like trying to search and find the correct image. We're making the image that we think will go best with our slideshows. And of course, this is great for history too. I remember when I had a history class, it was all there was just text on the slides, and I remember it driving me crazy as an 11th grader. So it's going to be great having your own images. Now, here it is. Oh, look at that. And everything is spelled correctly. Yay! And I love this cycle here. Now, let's go ahead and pop this over into ChatGPT and see what it comes up with. We describe exactly what we need and it's presentation ready. It's going to produce some polished, classroom safe visuals, just exactly what we need. Um, and it's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. While that is, I think it's coming up, I'm going to open Sora because we're going to use it for our video in a few minutes. And I forgot to open it before our presentation here. So, all right, back to ChatGPT while it's creating that. All right, which one do you guys like here? This looks more realistic. Um, I kind of don't know. It looks very classroom flat style that you would see in a textbook. But oh, I got ChatGPT. Oh yes, absolutely. I think this one's a good one. Anybody else? Any conflicting thoughts here? Does anybody like Nano Banana? Look at Nano Banana again. It's cartoonish, it's cute, adorable. And our this one for our slideshow is very educational like and friendly. Yes, I have Nano, but I also have Chat was way better here. Yes. So we have some interesting ones here and yeah, I agree. This is really good. I think they both did pretty good. All right. Yeah. So, this is really gonna save a lot of time, guys. Like, it doesn't matter what you're teaching, whether you're teaching a complicated AI concept or you're just teaching the life cycle of a butterfly, AI can do it all for you. All right. So, the last one is a newsletter. And this is a nano banana one, but we're also going to have to think about using Claude for this. So for the image, we're going to use nano banana, but this one isn't about text. So I'm not going to go over the text, but I will tell you this. Use Claude for text, especially for text for newsletters. Why? Because it's so great at matching tone and style and sounding just like you. If you give it like a few paragraphs of something you've written in the past, Claude will learn how you speak and pump out something that looks really good. So this is a cute science fair coming soon. Join us on date for a day of amazing discoveries. So we should have told it the date. We said use a bright, cheerful illustration style, and I love that we have diverse students and a positive tone. It looks like everything is spelled correctly. Yay. I'm going to pit it against ChatGPT just for kicks. And this kind of visual really makes newsletters more likely to be read. If you have your own website that you post things on, this is great. You can just add images to your website that you've created, and you don't have to worry about, what's it called when somebody is I'm copyrighted. You don't have to worry about copyright because you created this image yourself. And you can use all different you can use Nano Banana or ChatGPT for this. Let's see what ChatGPT came up with today. And I just love that it just makes communication just easier and more consistent and just a lot more fun. I like this one. I like ChatGPT for this one. I think this one was really good. Um, Start working on your awesome projects. Yes, somebody said chat appears to have everything spelled correctly. I really like that. Yes, chat is doing so much better about spelling for sure. All right, I really like this image. I think I like it better than Gemini's, the Nano Banana. So, yes, I do. I love the inclusive images too. This one is very inclusive. Just all, yes, very, very fun. Okay, so now we're going to do Sora. And this is something that was created by ChatGPT. And I am not going to create a Sora video live. And the reason is because it takes about 3 to 5 minutes to create a Sora video. And we could do it and then do questions and answers if you like. But you can do educational videos here. So I'm going to go to my media, and my prompt was a short educational video showing daily life in a medieval marketplace. You focus on the environment, clothing, and everyday activity and documentary style visuals. So I'm going to take a look here. It looks like we're walking in a medieval street and there's somebody selling, and it's only just like 5 seconds long, but it can really bring places like this to life for your students and they can understand what things were like back then. You can make it 20 seconds long. I didn't specify the seconds. You can do it 20, 30 seconds long and get more out of it. You will have to use more coins, more points to get it, tokens to use it. You'd have to use way more tokens, but it's totally worth it to get the videos that you would like. So I thought this one was cool. They also did a second one, and I want you to catch something here. Let's see if you catch what is going on here. Does anybody catch what just happened? I don't know if anybody wants to put it in the chat. But what do we see going on here? That's just not right. Grabbing air, yes. So Sora still has a long way to go. The first one was great, but it doesn't understand quite well how physics works all the way. Because remember, AI has never lived in the real world. It has never seen what we have seen. So that is why we're going to see funky videos and things like that because it's never existed in real life. All right, everyone, I'm going to end there for today, and I am going to go ahead and take questions for today. Does anybody have any questions before we close out?
Think we're good, Leandra.
All right. So, just to wrap things up, AI visuals and videos just aren't about being flashy or impressive. They're about clarity, access, and time. They really help students see what we're explaining, especially when language alone isn't enough. And they really help teachers focus their energy on teaching instead of formatting or recreating activities or materials. Now, one thing I want to emphasize is this: you don't need to use AI everywhere. In fact, it's most effective if we just use it for very small portions and helping students get that click, that light bulb when we can make a concept just help them understand a concept because of a short video or a picture. So this really removes the barrier for a student who needs it. All right, so I would
Hey,
like to
Leandra.
thank you. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Quick question from Javier. Is Sorrow, do you need to sign in or is it an extension of ChatGPT?
If you sign in with your ChatGPT account, you'll have immediate access to it. So it's part of ChatGPT, yes, but it's a separate website that you have to go through. You have to go to Sora to sign in. All right. So I would like to remind you guys that if you would like to gain a certification for the webinars that you have seen, please go to the Pathfinders Online Institute. The link is in the chat. There you will be able to take a short quiz on the webinar and submit a form to request your certification. And you will receive it in 48 hours or less and signed by me and our ED. Please spread the word to fellow educators. We would love to have more friends attend our sessions. And with that, I would like to close it. Oh, someone says, do we have to take a quiz if we're here live? Yes, you don't have to rewatch the video, but you just take the quiz and send us a form, and you will get a certification for it. Um, all right, and the link is in the chat for Pathfinders Online Institute. Um, and of course, if you like to rewatch anything, it's there as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope to see you at next week's webinar. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Goodbye.